Motivation. I'm motivated. But what do you do when motivation is not enough? You rely on your work ethic. You rely on your discipline. That's my mentality. Now let's get it.
The stage, please welcome Julian Peters.
What's going on, everybody? This is Julian back with my Mentality podcast. For those listening, welcome back to my voice. For those watching, say hello to my beautiful face. Today, we got special guest, Miss Nicole Sikorsky. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me.
Not a problem. So it's kind of funny because your last name's Sikorsky and like one of my best friends is. So
Oh,
it's
really?
like, yeah, his name's Clayton Sikorsky.
Wait, like SKI at the end or the Y?
SKI.
Okay. Wow,
Yeah.
that's really rare.
Yeah, well, he's from Canada, so maybe
Okay.
that's why it's rare. But yeah, he's from
Yeah.
Canada. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay. I know how to say that easily.
You're maybe one of the only ones.
Right. So, and where are you located?
So I'm in Virginia, in Northern Virginia, right outside of DC. I'm currently in Stafford.
Okay. I didn't know. For some reason, I thought Jersey. I don't know. Maybe it's just because a bunch of people from Jersey are around your friends or something.
So yeah, I'm from Jersey, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, originally I'm from Wyckoff,
Okay.
up in Northern New Jersey, like kind of close to New York City. So
Got you. All right. Very cool. So what's your background? Like education, where you grew up? You just told us that. Go ahead and break it down for us.
yeah, so like I said, I'm originally from New Jersey. I have about 10 years now in the US Air Force. So I went in right out of high school. I enlisted when I was 18 into the delayed entry program for a year. And then I went into the Air Force without a secured job. They thought I was crazy. And everybody told me, oh, you're definitely going to be a cop. And I was like, I really want to be a photographer. That sounds super cool. And I would see like the Thunderbirds commercials, and I just thought that was awesome. It's like, being on a roller coaster every day and taking pictures. Little did I know that's like a super hard job to get and not what you're going to get straight out the gate. But I did end up getting photography when I went to basic training. And then as soon as I got in the Air Force, they told me, oh, hey, you're going to be a journalist too. So, we've now evolved into like a mass communication specialist type, where it includes video and, public affairs and all that jazz. But so I did 6 years active duty. I was stationed at Shaw Air Force Base in South Carolina, Incirlik, Turkey, and then Ramstein, Germany. And that's when I finally decided to get out and to complete my bachelor's degree, which has nothing to do with what I do now. I did a degree in paralegal studies. So I just did that like online when I was in, and then I spent a couple years doing in-person classes. And then I went back to my public affairs skills, and now I'm a government contractor for the Army.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So when you said that you were doing like the photography and stuff, can you kind of explain what that is? Because I've never heard of that before within the military. So I'm kind of interested.
Yeah, so all of the photos that you see like on like airforce.mil, army.mil, navy.mil, like somebody's taking those. And usually it's somebody within the military. So a lot of the articles you might see where they come out of locations overseas or in the US that have to do with military, they're a lot of times taken by, airmen, soldiers, Marines, Coast Guard. We all have, those jobs within the armed forces. And that doesn't just mean like news, television, radio, but also like forensic photography, all the official photos that need to get done, passports, or really anything that you can think of that's got photo in it, or, journalism and news and video, we got it. So if you've ever seen like AFN, that's public affairs as well.
Okay. So, and it's interesting. So I want to say, 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. I moved to Kansas City and I got a job at Grantham University, which is a college. I was an admissions rep where the owner of the college, it's not like You're from Virginia, so it's not like a Virginia or Virginia Tech. It's a post-secondary, like not like it's almost like University of Phoenix type of school. It's a different, it's education, but it's a different level, right?
Yeah, like a for-profit kind of thing, or
Yeah,
like
for
private.
profit. Yeah, for
Yeah.
profit. So the guy who started it back in 1960 was a World War II vet,
Oh, cool.
I believe, and he started it as a radio school, but it was basically everybody that was over there was coming back, and they had nothing to do. Essentially, that's why he started the college, because he was like, none of the soldiers are really getting education when they come back. So when I got there, I had to learn about the Navy, the Army, the Marines, Army Reserve, like the whole nine. I had to learn about like the Chapter 30 and 33 bill for education,
Yep.
tuition assistance. It was so much, but I learned a lot. And a lot of the like 50% of our campus was military. So
Mhm.
some of the stuff that I would talk to them about or hear about was just amazing. And a lot of them they would be like, honestly, man, I'm just doing this so I can rank up. Like, like I need an education so I can move up some more. So it was interesting to be that. Even like you said, Navy.mil, I'm familiar with that because we had to go there sometimes. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's a fantastic shoe collection behind you. This is totally off topic, but what a background.
I appreciate it. This is my pride and joy. So yeah.
Yeah. So with all that communications art stuff, did you pick anything out that helped you like spark the desire to start a podcast or?
No. So the funny thing is, like, I went to a private college,
Mhm.
private Christian school. My undergrad is in marketing, and I got my master's in education.
Okay.
I've never done anything mass communications. I've never done like none of that. Maybe taking a class.
Wow.
The only reason I started this is because of my coach.
That's so funny. Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. He was just like, I do like little videos, and me and him have conversations and talk. And he was like, dude, you need to start a podcast. And I was like, no, I'm not. No, I don't want to. I won't be good at it. People won't like my voice. I don't think I'm that smart. Like, all these excuses. And then this year in January, this was the first time I did it, and we just been moving along.
Well, you're killing it so far. And, it's really seems to just be having a conversation with people,
That's it.
you know?
Yep.
So
That's literally it. It's a conversation, and you just kind of have to be creative about topics. And really, I try to make sure, and I mean, you can attest to this. I'm not just trying to bring anybody on here. I
Mhm.
want somebody with like a unique story, or that are doing something that we don't always hear people talk about. So
Yeah.
even with you, like the minute you were like, yeah, I'm in the Navy or in the Air Force, sorry, I'm like, oh, there we go. That's what I needed. And
Yeah.
messages. So
Well, thanks so much. Yeah. And you said you went to a Christian school. What school did you go to?
Oklahoma Westland. It's in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. It's a
Okay.
little small NAIA school. I played basketball there. And that was it. And I went to a private Christian high school as
Oh,
well
really?
my
Oh,
senior
wow.
year. Yeah.
Okay. I went to a Christian college actually too, Regent University in Virginia.
Okay.
So yeah, it just was kind of like a thing where, I mean, I am a Christian. My family's mainly Catholic. I mean, in New Jersey, I don't know, like it's a lot of, like Catholic people,
Mm-hmm.
like just in one spot, but I
Right.
was never really raised that way. It was just kind of like the situation where you said at your school that, you were working at, it's like 50% of the military is just trying to rank up. So it's like where I was located. I'm like, okay, yeah, let me go finish my degree here. But,
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That really is awesome. So with being in the military and starting, obviously you went through your boot camps and stuff. Was
yeah.
there a lot of women there with you during that time, or were you kind of a loner? Like, how does that work?
No, so yeah, you are divided by male and female when you go to basic training, or back when I went to basic training, at least in 2011. And there was, I mean, I would say it was probably like almost half and half. I think the Air Force has a lot more females than the other branches. I could be wrong there, I'm not sure, but it seemed pretty even. But they pretty much keep you separated. Like, don't even look at the guys during basic. No wandering eyes. So, you keep a bunch of young people straight out of high school locked up for a couple months. People start looking the other way. So,
Right. Oh, I
yeah.
understand. So let me ask, and how old are you right now, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I'm 28.
28. So you're still young.
Mhm.
So what would you tell the 18-year-old Nicole that's getting ready to walk into basic training?
Oh man, I would just say that's a really good question. I feel like there's a lot of things, but don't sleep on any opportunities. Like, don't procrastinate. I wasn't really a procrastinator back then. I feel like that happened later in life, like with some projects and whatnot. But yeah, just don't sleep on any opportunity. Like, everything is what you make of it. And if you waste a day, that's really a shame on you. So,
Got you. Okay, very good. So, and you're still currently in the military, right?
yep, I'm a reservist.
You're still
So,
reserve. Okay.
yeah, I'm an IMA, so an individual mobilization augmentee. So that basically means I can go like once a year to or I can do 2 weeks and then do 1 weekend a month. So
Okay.
it's a little bit more flexible than a traditional spot. But yeah, I did 6 years active duty and I've been in the reserve since the beginning of 2017.
2017. Okay. So, and when did you ever in any situation have to deal with being a woman in the military? Was there ever any struggles within that or
I would say no, honestly. I think the great thing about the military is like no matter who you are or no matter where you come from, it's a pretty even playing field. Like we all have such great benefits in the military. Like if you want to go out and take a bunch of classes and pursue your education, you can become a leader and like take the proper opportunities to volunteer, to further educate yourself. I mean, really, it's on the individual, and I think it doesn't really matter. So I'm definitely grateful for that because I know
okay.
that doesn't exist everywhere.
Yeah, so you're the third woman I've spoken with that was in the military. And I've
Really?
had two positive stories. I've had one not so positive story where she went through a
Really?
lot of things. Yeah. So I always ask that
Sorry.
question. Oh my gosh, hi. I love
This
dogs,
is
so you're fine.
Callie.
You need camera time. I see
Yeah.
it.
These are my babies.
Oh yeah, I understand.
We're gonna go do what we're gonna do, okay? Come on. Come on.
She is getting her dogs situated, so give us a sec. Yo.
Okay. They're just
So yeah, you're good. They're fine. So yeah, so we have one not so great story, a lot of ups and downs in it, and then the other two. So that's why I always ask that question because I know that obviously the military is more male dominant.
right.
So I just think you women are just kick ass for being able to do it in the first place. And like I tell everybody that's in the military, I ain't got the balls for it. Never have, never will. So we appreciate your service, and it's awesome that you're still going in it.
Well, thank you. And like I was just talking to like a coworker tonight who actually served some time in Afghanistan and got out in 2013. So he saw a different army than, I've seen in the Air Force because I went in 2011. But, really everybody who joined around my time kind of signed up at a time of war. It wasn't a time of peace. I mean, it was right after 9/11. And, we were kind of still really, really in the heat. So, even though there's a bunch of benefits, you really sign up to defend and do what's necessary. And, it comes with a price, as we can see.
For sure. So and you said that you went over. So were you in like some pretty hazardous situations over there or smooth
So
sailing?
not, I was pretty lucky. I did get over to Turkey. I had an assignment there for 15 months and ISIS was kind of popping off in like 2013, 2014. But I PCS to Germany. I moved like right at the tail end. So when the base did go into lockdown, I kind of got out of that situation. So no, not personally.
That's
I
good.
kind of skipped that. I never had a real deployment if you don't count like going to countries for 2 or 3 days at a time to
Right.
shoot stories.
Right. And so, and how do you feel the other countries people like population receive you guys? Is it like a good thing? Do they not like y'all? Like how does it
I
work?
mean, like most people in most places where we have US bases, I feel like they're pretty appreciative and everybody's, really nice. I've had good interactions, I've had bad interactions. There's going to be good people and, bad people in the world. So you just got to keep your head on a swivel, and always kind of, be aware of your surroundings and what's going on because, that can happen just at home right here. There's sometimes more threats than over there.
Right. Yeah. Very facts.
It's you can never just relax like anywhere you go. Like,
Yeah, I'm definitely obviously just with the world where it is right now, I'm always on a head on a swivel is what I call it,
mhm.
just at all times. And but to be honest, I'm that way anyway. So like I'm the guy that I can't have a good time when you go out to a bar or a club, and it's not because I'm going out and like trying to start a fight. It's because I'm so protective by instinct. Whoever's with me, I'm watching for what's going on around because you never know what's gonna pop off. So
And
I'm
it's
just
good to be
like,
like that. Like you got to kind of be aware of people's behavior around you, and
right,
it's just the way it is.
yeah,
The
it's just
minute
the
you're not, you don't want to
yeah
get
for sure.
far.
Most definitely, I agree. So let's we're gonna get back to the military because I got some more questions to ask. But before we do
Okay.
that, what in the world got you into bodybuilding?
Okay. So, okay, don't laugh, but I was not always into fitness. I couldn't even run my mile and a half in like a decent time when I joined the Air Force. So, I was like, I think 19 when I got to my first base, and the military PT is just kind of like the baseline, right? It's up to you to stay in shape, and develop a healthy lifestyle. So I just was like starting to get into running, and then like I saw a few people doing like beach body. So I did beach body. I downloaded the meal plan. I started eating exactly what was on the plan. And I was like, okay, I don't think I'm doing like all that I could be doing. Like I had never set foot in a gym before.
Right,
So I saw this girl on base and she was working out and I was like, wow, she looks really good. Like she looks very put together, like in a way that I haven't seen somebody else like in real life be in shape. And I remember back when I would go to like tanning salons, I'd never do that now because of like skin cancer and stuff. Way back in the day. Um, I saw her there. I was like, oh, don't you, work at Shaw too? And like we eventually became friends and I ended up asking her for advice. I was like, hey, like, how did you get to this point? Like, you look, like way more put together. And she's like, actually, I'm an NPC competitor and I do competitions. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And I was like, well, how do I do that? Because I was a cheerleader growing up and like, I was really into gymnastics and whatnot. And it was kind of an outlet for competition and just to have a goal. So I didn't even know, I've never been to a show before. And like I got on stage 3 months later and I did the diet. Like I did everything that I had to do. Like I worked out in the gym with her and she trained me and like she was just my friend. And then I got the bug, and it was a way different bikini division than what we're
oh
seeing now.
yeah, I can imagine for sure.
Yeah,
Like same thing with Men's Physique. Like I'm a Men's Physique competitor. Whenever I come back, it's been so long. But if you look at the guys that started like 2011, 2010, 2012, yeah, hell, even my coach, like Ryan was legit. But like
yeah,
now, like you would have to put on some size, Ryan. Like the game changed a little bit.
they got big,
They
huh?
got big. Yeah, they got big. So yeah, I would say it's funny looking back on like bikini because even then, I wouldn't even say that it's a whole lot much bigger in size, but it's just the shred and definition of everything just looks way different. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, it was like they had sequins on the bikinis and like different prints, like, and just stuff you would never see. Like, people would not get their hair and makeup done. Like, nobody knew how to pose back then. Like, the posing was so different. And yeah, it was really more of like a softer, like almost like just a girl who's kind of in shape and goes to the gym occasionally, like that kind of
I
look.
actually likened it to, and this is no disrespect to anybody, but like the Hooters, like swimsuit competitions.
It's exactly like that. That's actually a perfect way to put it.
Yeah, that's how I remember it. So you said, and it's funny too because you said that like that's embarrassing. I guess how you got into it. You want to know why I started like competing or working out? So I don't tell this much, but like I played basketball in college, but like I've always been a chubby kid. So like I was 5'8", like 225 pounds playing point guard, thick, like chubby kid. I've always been that way. And the reason I started working out was once basketball stopped. So I was like, I needed something else to do. But the real reason is because I watched Jersey Shore and The Situation, like pulled up his shirt in the club and like all the girls went crazy. And I was like, I want that. That's why I started working out. Like that's the
Oh my
only
God.
reason.
That's so funny. Hey, whatever it takes, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at like, yeah, with, your measurements and everything, that sounds like good genetics for a bodybuilder right there.
Yeah.
I mean, just so whatever the inspiration it is, and that's cool though. That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely used to watch that show. Everybody from New Jersey, even if they say that they did it, they did.
I don't know who didn't watch that show back then. That's like a pinnacle of like millennials. I feel like growing up was Jersey Shore.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
So
exactly.
how many shows have you done?
So I have done 6 shows now, and my most recent being the DC Pro Am. So I did wellness. So I was a bikini competitor before, and then I kind of was like, oh, let me see what the wellness division is about, and I kind of got my eyes open. Those girls are stacked, and it's a hell of a look. It's amazing to be honest, but I think with my shape right now, I'm going to still continue down the path of bikini. You
Yeah.
know, the wellness division is really evolving, and I think they're really narrowing down what they're looking for. But I also, in turn, think that bikini is, now showing a lot more muscular development than it used to.
Yeah.
So, my previous show before that was in 2019 in bikini, and I was still told to grow. So yeah, that's what we're doing now.
Right. And I actually spoke to another wellness competitor, and I'll throw this by you because when she said it, it made so much sense. If you look at who's at the top of the game of wellness, it's Brazilians. Like it's mostly the Brazilians. And
Yeah.
she said that it's not that like they're just that far ahead or that better genetically. It's just they have grown up focusing on having a big butt, having bigger legs, whereas American women, for the most part, it was especially in that time frame, like Jennifer Aniston, skinnier. You know what I'm saying? So like we're just starting at a disadvantage because that wasn't never really the look or the in style for most American women. Where Brazil, they grow up that way.
Right. Or, there's girls who will think, oh, well, I can get away with wellness. I have more body fat in the lower half. And, I mean, when I came down, like in those last final weeks, it was pretty clear that, I'm still bikini. I mean, that is a lot of density and it's not fat. They want you dense and conditioned and like
Right.
almost asymmetrical. But
Yeah.
I think you're right. Like we're just a little bit culturally behind. And I think we're starting to catch up though, because you look at these national shows, and I mean, even the Americans are really bringing the heat.
Yeah.
So it's exciting to watch, though. I'm really excited for the Wellness Olympia coming up,
It's
and
gonna be dope.
it
That's
is.
one of the ones I'm looking forward to watching. Not for sick reasons, people. I enjoy bodybuilding, but
Yeah,
so no, yeah, I agree. I think wellness is a get. I honestly, wellness and classic are probably getting ready to be the like staples of carrying bodybuilding. And I don't say that to say like open bodybuilding is not important. I don't say that to say men's physique's not important, but those two looks are the looks that I feel like will be accepted by the non-bodybuilder. They see the
yeah,
wellness girl, they see the class physique guy. It's like, oh, I think I can look like him maybe, or I like the way he looks. Same with men's physique, you can fit that. And then wellness is more so. I don't know how to say it. I think the average person would like the wellness a little bit better, as
yeah,
far as like
yeah.
the
Because I feel like we almost went in like mainstream media in a direction of more like, okay, like a small waist, big butt, like bigger legs. I mean, people are out here paying for surgeries to look like that. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's here what the main consumer would want. But you know, it's definitely a long game as far as that growth. It's not an entry level division, but it's also motivating for people to set a long-term goal because they'll be on a better path.
Yeah. I would say if you're a bikini competitor, I mean, if your goal is to grow muscle, like and not stay in that division, you probably somewhere along the way would evolve into wellness, I would
Yeah,
assume.
yeah,
But
definitely. I mean, it's a whole beast of training, but you know, if you want to push some weights in the gym and not kind of stay in one place, then you know, I mean, the shorter girls, like I'm 5'2", so I do have to. I can only train a certain amount of times a week for bikini, but like you know, I understand the position that I'm in.
so
So
I posted like a story the other day because y'all never look y'all height on stage, and it's frustrating. Like you're 5'2", you probably look like 5'12", 5'11", 6 foot on stage, and like I met some of y'all, and I'm like, oh my god, like she's tall, and then when she come down, I'm like, wait, what?
right,
Like, how did
yeah.
that happen? So yeah, I always think that's funny, but 5'2", that's funny. Oh, and another thing too, I'm gonna go ahead and address this for the people that do listen when they do. Stop being disrespectful and thinking that like going to wellness is just this walk in the damn park that you can just, hey, I'm gonna decide to go to wellness. I'm a little bit bigger. That's crap. It's not what the division is about, and it's not gonna work out for you. I promise.
No, and there's nothing wrong with, I mean, even, you know, staying in the bikini division. I mean, that's my choice because, you know, as far as longevity and the way that I would have to train to be successful in wellness, I mean, you know, I've got, I'm approaching the late 20s, and by the time I'm being successful, probably my knees are not going to like me very much. So,
Right, right. So what? Okay, so let me ask you this: what's your goal with bodybuilding? What's the ultimate end game for Nicole in bodybuilding?
I mean, so right now, just going to work on bringing a pro physique, a pro level physique, and the pro card will come at the time that, you know, God wills it. So that's, I can't control the outcome of a show. I just have to control what I bring.
Right.
You know, I'll be cruising on into prep here pretty soon for the
What
next
show?
season. I'm going to start prepping for the Arnold Classic Amateur in March. I mean,
I'm
hopefully they have it.
I'm actually thinking about doing that one myself.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
like, I don't know how many weeks out.
It's a good amount, but the reason,
It is.
so I was thinking about trying to get back at the end of the year, which we're still shooting for, but I
Mhm.
got so much work to do, which is not, I mean, I've done it, but there's no rush this time. Like I've lost, I went from like 265 to like 200 pounds in a 16-week
Wow.
prep. Yeah. I'm a big kid. Like,
Damn, that's
um,
a lot in a pretty short amount of time.
right. And I don't want to do that again.
Mhm.
Because I don't think I was my best. Yeah, we got down, but it's like you said, that's a lot of weight, fat, and everything to lose in that amount of time is just not enough. So
Right.
I would like to do end of the year. I don't know if that'll work, but I definitely was looking like I've never been to the Arnold. Why not go to the Arnold, compete,
Yeah.
like just
I
chill
went
out?
I went at the last one they had, the expo at 2019, and I thought it was just like such a cool event, like just being around everybody in the fitness community, and really it's like a day to go shopping. It's like a big flea market, and then you know you have all the shows to watch. You go watch the pros, and you know just to compete there would be really fun. It's like going to Disney World for a bodybuilder, so I might as well get on stage.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
So you're already qualified then nationally.
So
Wait, the Arnold doesn't require that, do they?
it doesn't require it. So that's also a reason I'm going to do it because I
Smart.
haven't done a bikini show since 2019.
Really?
So if we miss the boat, I'll be jumping into another one a couple
Right.
later.
So what
But
is what was the reason for the break? Are you just building or is it just life?
yeah, so I mean, I just want to like bring up my lats a little bit and just get a little bit more pop to my shoulders. Also, I just take quite a bit of time to really get down to the conditioning that I need to. And honestly, I've never been to the conditioning that I've truly needed to be. So I did a 10-week prep into the DC show which, I mean, I could have been leaner. So, and I probably could have competed in bikini a little bit more successfully. So this is a lot longer, but I'm going to do a 22-week prep into the Arnold and just try and cruise at like 1 pound a week.
Yeah, cruise.
Yeah. So
I
I don't
agree with that.
anything. So yeah, like ideally I'd like to just be ready 2 weeks out so I can reverse diet into the show and not need to do anything. Just walk on stage like it's another day.
Yeah, that's awesome. And who's your coach?
So I'm working with Gabe Villavencio out of Colorado.
Okay.
We actually just started working together about 2 months ago. He's been reverse dieting me. I worked with a local coach for my last prep, it was a really good prep and, super thankful, but, just the online ability was just better for, financial reasons and then work reasons, just driving back and forth. Just a little bit more flexibility there. So things are going well and just looking to improve and really prep the right amount of time, just because that conditioning is, as you get toward the end of prep, it just gets harder to lose that fat, just, with everything slowing down. And, it is what it is, though. There's no easy prep, regardless of what kind of body type you have. But I definitely know my strengths and weaknesses, so I need to be given it the 5 months.
So are you a lift heavy type or are you more so lift, like how do you lift?
I lift pretty heavy and like intensely.
I love to hear that. You have no clue.
So I went down, so I was doing training for wellness and I started to grow pretty quickly because I was going to be like, just take 2 years off and blow up my legs. And I started growing pretty fast, but then I'm like, I don't know if I want to carry all this weight. And now I'm down at 4 days a week training. So 6 days to 4 days. And I'm going to just continue to train like at maximum intensity until it's a problem.
Yeah. So and you literally, what you just said, I was getting ready to ask next. So appreciate that leadway into the segment. But one of the things I don't realize when it comes to bodybuilding is why people do not emphasize rest days, but we talk about them so much. Like you talk about recovery and rest, and I'm like, but you don't take it. And I was the guy who used to lift 6 days a week, and I'm pushing these heavy amounts of weight, but I'm not really progressing. I'm sticking at the weight that I'm pushing. So my split now, I do chest, rest, back, rest, shoulders, legs, rest, and I repeat that cycle. And
you have to.
Yeah. And what I found out is like I'm pushing more weight, my body's recovering, I'm growing, obviously. And it's just like, why don't people, like, who told us that you have to do this 6 days a week? Like, you know what I mean? And I did it for so long, and I really do feel like I was holding my body back from really growing and recovering correctly. And on top of that, I'm not lifting. The weight that I lift now is almost double what I used to, but it's because I'm like, I have the energy to do it.
Right. Well, it's like the second half of the process, right? The muscle has to repair itself. And if you're eating the adequate amount of food, which of course you are, like it's going to do that, but you can't just keep hammering it.
Right.
And it's just, you're not going to improve just because you're shaving, that fascia down and just, you keep on shaving, but you don't let it grow.
Right.
So yeah, no, totally. And that's really good that you figured that out. And I feel like it took me until honestly this past year to figure that out, because I was training like 4 days a week going into my show, really, really prioritizing recovery, like you said. But also one thing I really did differently this year, which helped me tremendously, is getting massages, like deep tissue every week. And then, doing foam rolling, the Epsom salt baths. I also, like, my boyfriend and I have a Theragun, like the massage.
I got one.
Yeah, just really staying like, and making sure I'm warming up and doing like 10 minutes of cardio before the lift so your body's ready to go. Because I mean, I'm guilty of it. I think before this year, I'd walk in the gym and I maybe do one set, and that's not enough sometimes, especially if you're dealing with your shoulders and like chest. I mean, even on legs too, like you just everywhere. But, you'll see chest tears are pretty frequent with guys, and they're probably just not, really warming up and getting those good stretches in. So
yeah, I did that slightly.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, and it's funny. Everything you said is exactly what the hell I did. So like, I'm pretty relatively like strong bench press, incline bench. And I'm at the gym and I tell people I have this mentality in the gym where like I feel like a gorilla. Like, and so I want to piss on everything. Like I want to mark my territory everywhere. Like, and I don't want
every machine.
right. So we're in the gym, we're talking. This dude walks up. He's like, "Hey man, so and so yesterday was incline benching 405," and I'm like, "I've done that, like whatever." And he's like, "Seriously?" I'm like, "Yeah," and I like showed the video. He's like, "But can you do it now?" I was like, "Yes." So I'm like, I go tomorrow. I'll go do it. So obviously the whole night I'm like game planning. I'm like, I'm about to kill this. Walk in the gym, barely warmed up because the dude that I said that to saw me. He's like, "What's up?" So I go, put it on, I build my way up, put it on. I have the video. I come down the first time and like my left pec, I just feel like this, like almost splitting.
Oh
And
no.
like, I was like, that don't feel good. But me being like an athlete, you're prone to just push through. Like I'm not being, so I pushed it up and I was like, let me try it again.
Oh
to see if it was
no.
just me. And on the second time I brought it down, you can see like as I push back up, my like chest goes like kind of shakes, and I'm like, oh, and I pushed it up, guy racked it, and I like go like this, and I'm like, what's going on? So the coach I had at the time was like, Ryan was my coach, but I had a guy that was doing my workout program too, for strength, and he was just like, this is your option, because I'm in the gym like the next week doing chest again. In pain. He goes, these are your options. He's like, either you're going to tear that off the bone completely, or you're going to listen to me and you're going to stop doing chest, and we're going to work slowly until we feel like it's recovered. So for the next 2 to 3 months, I was Smith machine benching like 135.
So when was that?
Probably 6-7 months ago.
Oh wow. So are you good now?
I'm good now, but I still have pain in that area a little bit. I don't think it'll ever go away. I really do think I slightly tore my pec. I just didn't. You've seen those injuries where they just like tear. I don't think that happened, but it was definitely my warning. That was the first time I've ever been injured lifting. But it was definitely like, you need to warm up. You don't need. I can lift that weight. I probably won't ever do that again. But like even now, I inclined I think 335 last week. But
wow.
like, yeah,
really come back.
Yeah, my whole process is way different. For like you said, I need to warm it up, and now, just being honest, I'm kind of fearful. So like, and I feel like you almost have to be when you get an injury. Like I'm always in the back of my mind thinking, what if this is the time that this thing just snaps off?
Right.
So I'm like that too.
You. Yeah, and that's that went heavily into my decision to stay in bikini as well. I herniated a disc in my back in 2020. The gyms were closed during COVID, and I was super excited for that first workout. I'm gonna hit the leg day. I'm doing reverse hack squats. It wasn't even a lot of weight, but my form was wrong on one of them. I didn't have my belt on, and I went down, and I felt like my back just something was off. And then like a week later, I started getting nerve tinglings and stuff, ended up in physical therapy, out of the gym for 2 months. And you always have that fear after. And I feel like you're a superhero before, like, oh, it's never going to happen to me, until one day. And like, it doesn't take much sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't have to be a super heavy movement. Like, your back is connected to everything, and your neck, like if you move wrong or you don't contract your core, just do what you're supposed to do, it could go south quickly, and then it's going to affect you. Yeah. And you could be out a whole season or maybe longer.
Oh yeah. Or maybe not do this anymore, which I don't want. So, and another thing you mentioned, like the massages and stuff. Do you do chiropractic?
I don't. That's something I really need to do. And it's just like, I already do so much, but
so let me, so before my divorce happened, we moved to Kansas City because my ex-wife got accepted in chiropractic school. So it was like, all right, we're going to move, you go. And I started learning about chiropractic myself, and damn near became an advocate without knowing it, because I'm like telling everybody about it. But not only is it good for body part situations, so like I have a lat that comes in unevenly. within my body. That's just a genetic thing. There's nothing you can do. But through adjusting it, we were able to kind of even it out a little bit within a pose. And I had a chiropractor to help me. But when you think about it like this, okay, your brain controls everything in your body, right?
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of nerves that are run down that are all looped through and connected to your spine. What does that mean? Thyroid, metabolism, all that is connected to your spine. There's nerves that are connected to your spine. If you're misaligned, and let's say I'm just going to pull a number out. I don't know. Let's say your L7 is connected to your metabolism or your thyroid, right? And you're misaligned and you're cutting off the function of that nerve by 30%. Are you able to perform or burn through food like you could if you're having a curvature over that area?
Wow, it's funny you say that because I'm correcting my thyroid right now. Like I'm on meds for it, so maybe I'll be in the chiropractic.
Yeah, so it's crazy. Like my metabolism's terrible. My thyroid was like, I got my blood work done. My thyroid was in the green, but it was like 90, 91. Okay. Like if it's an A, I'm barely holding on to an A, right?
Well, I'm at like, yeah.
So then we go and like get an X-ray, and I'm misaligned in that area. And there's a bunch of black like stuff within my body from, I guess, whatever was going on. But that's why like I stopped losing weight. I stopped digesting food incorrectly because where I was misaligned was connected to my metabolism, like thyroid area. Wow. I would even argue, like, have you ever seen a person who's like perfectly good on the outside, but they have like a random heart attack? I think part of that is that you're misaligned. And if you're like, there's nerves connected to your heart, and if they're not working and you don't know it, like you just end up dropping. And there was an experiment done in 1986 where a guy was trying to disprove the effectiveness of chiropractic. So he did because back then it was like taboo. And he did an experiment with a bunch of cadavers, like bodies, and cats. Yeah. He was trying to prove that chiropractic didn't work. When he found out that with every disease within a cadaver or a cat, it was connected to a misalignment within the spine. So he ended up disproving what he was trying to disprove.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about science, right? It's like you have a hypothesis and then you do a test and you figure out what the facts are. So
So I encourage you to go to chiropractor, Miss Nicole.
Absolutely. I will. I think that's going to be on my to-do list here. Just, I mean, I might as well start now.
Yeah. See, I'm an advocate. They need to start paying me.
Yeah, really. Like this. Hello, sponsored.
Right. So let me ask you this. I know you're spending time in the military. You guys got, your basic training, your organization. What have you brought over from the military into your everyday life and to bodybuilding that's kind of carried over and helped you think?
So I would say there's a few things. Really time management and like knowing that if somebody before me did it, I can do it, because that's kind of how the military has went. Like, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. Like others have done this and successfully done this, and that kind of gives me hope at the end of the day that I'm capable. And really belief in myself and self-discipline and time management is a huge piece to it. Just really not having excuses. I won't lie, I've not been the perfect athlete like my whole time. Like everybody screws up, but I think it's a journey, and like, holding yourself accountable and like constantly leveling up is really key. And just being self-aware and honest with yourself about where your weaknesses are and how you can turn them into strengths. Because there's not a lot of sugarcoating, when you're in a deployed situation or, when somebody's life depends on it. So I think that, those skills really, there's so many things I think that I've brought over, but those are the highlights.
So what's interesting, and again, I've had, Matt Mugford, he's IFBB Men's Physique Pro. He's in the military. I had Jasmine Gonzalez. She's in the military. Had who else? Oh, Kyla Kilman recently. She was in the military. Everybody talks about time management, like that being one of the things that they were able to bring over, which is crazy because that's something I am the worst at.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's horrible. And I try to do good and I don't. Like one of the things from Kyla, from my conversation with Kyla, she talked about like good habits and rituals. So one of the things she does is make her bed every morning to start her day. So like I literally for like a week and a half, yeah. But and I'm
I don't
like,
make my bed every day.
right.
Not
So
immediately. I'm getting
so
that coffee first.
right. So I literally for a week and a half, 2 weeks now have done that. And I like venture. I was like, hey, I'm making my bed like every morning, just so you know. But it does make it kind of like a process. So I like get up and I get that done, and I feel like I've at least accomplished something that day. So
Right.
so when you're prioritizing tasks, when you're prioritizing work in the gym, how do you manage that? Are you using a planner? Do you just kind of go by the flow? Like what are some like tricks that you might do to keep yourself managed time wise?
So, I mean, my day's pretty regimented. Like every day is honestly the same. And I mean, unless it's the weekend, I do like to sleep in on the weekends, but usually I try and knock my training out during the weekdays. So I wake up, I get on morning meetings, I have my coffee, then after like 9:30, I'll have like meal one. Usually I'm not doing fasted cardio in the off season, but if it does come down to it in prep where I need to, then I'll just be, doing that before, or if I can walk and talk, I'll do that as well. And like I'm lucky enough to work from home. So, I have all my food prepped. I still meal prep, even though I live at home. I just don't want to get lazy and be in the position where I'm making bad choices. The fridge is right there, but I'm not the only one in the house. So,
Right.
and I mean, luckily he's in prep too, but he definitely has some treats here and there. So,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
not all
I,
safe zone.
I hear you on that. I work from home too. So this is
Yeah.
actually my office too to
Oh,
work from.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So I've had a lot of interesting work meetings when this background pops up. I'll just put it like that. So I work from home, but I try to do where like I hate eating. I hate it. Yeah, my coach knows it. Like, now don't get me wrong, I'll go to like McDonald's right now and grab a bunch of food and eat it.
Yeah,
When
that's different.
you put me on prep, I'm like, I don't want this crap. I end up either not finishing it or I take like 45 minutes to eat it, which
Oh my,
defeats the purpose too.
yeah.
So then I was like, I just want it to be fresh. So I'll just cook my meals every, 20 minutes before I'm ready to eat. Yeah, that did not work out at all.
Oh my,
Um, so I had to do like you do. I prep all my food as if I work outside, put it
yeah.
in Tupperware, and I just eat it that way. And it's helped. But yeah, I tried that whole like cooking as I go. It did not work out at all.
No, yeah, me neither. It's just not good. I mean, you'll find yourself grabbing for shit that's not on the plan at all.
Right.
Oh, if the plan says chicken, Chick-fil-A or KFC counts, right? Like,
Boneless, skinless, I'm good.
yeah, right? I got to get the grilled nuggets. Well,
Yep.
okay, they're a little crispy today.
Yep. I'm good. So and then so you live with your boyfriend, right?
I do, yeah.
Okay. And you're both, have you all ever prepped together?
Yeah, so this past prep was together. He was kind of in the beginning of his prep. He didn't start until I was like, I think like a month out of my show. But yeah, we went to Disney World for his birthday. I was on prep. I brought all my food. I didn't cheat or anything. And like, I was on prep. And then, he was doing his thing, and I respect his off season, and I want him to, enjoy what he's doing. And, it's my choice to compete at the end of the day. So that's not his obligation, it's mine, and it's my responsibility to meet my goals. So, I don't feel bad eating in front of him. Like
Right.
now, I'm just living my best life.
Right.
Like, of course, I have my meals, but I have things, here and there too. And I take a more like macro based approach at the moment. Come prep, that won't be the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're on the same page as far as like balance, and there is no balance in prep. We're on that page of like, a lot of people say, oh, you got to have balance. You should be able to have this and that. Like, well, I've never gotten lean enough to where I need to be. And like, I still didn't have balance. So if I had balance, I don't think it would get better.
And and obviously I know I talked to you because I would like to get both y'all on here at some
Yeah.
point for my swole mates and protein shakes
Oh,
playlist now. That's what I call it. And I just uploaded my first episode with Rachel and Spanos and Matt Spanos. So that's
oh,
a
I'll
really
have to
good one.
listen.
Yeah, it's a good one, and I really like Matt's perspective because the whole point is I would like to hear not just the competitor side, but the spouse's side. And one of the things he talked about was like, if your spouse and and your person is competing, like you evolve with them. He was like, so like I evolved as a spouse as far as her competing. He was like, so obviously my lifestyle changed because like I'm watching her do it. I'm not just sitting here eating whatever. So he's
Right.
like, that was a part of it. And he also said had mentioned perspective. And he was like, for me, you can go into something super negative about it. Oh my gosh, I lost my drinking buddy. I lost this. He's like, or I get to see my wife transform, evolve, become this kick-ass athlete, get her pro card, and I'm there every step of the way with her. He's like, so that's how I chose to look at it. And
That's
I'm
nice.
like, that's it. Like, and I feel the same thing with like you said. I mean, y'all understand preps, you understand off seasons. The perspective isn't, oh my gosh, she gets to eat whatever and I'm eating this. The perspective is just like she's in off season. This is
Yeah.
what she needs to do to build to get to her next goal while
Yeah.
I'm doing this. So it's cool to hear y'all got it on lock because I know it's hard.
It is. It definitely isn't easy, but yeah, it's funny because he wasn't a bodybuilder before we got together.
They see what I mean?
Oh yeah, he was eating like Taco Bell every
Right,
night, like Mountain Dew, regular, not diet, like not
right,
zero, like those
right.
big ass sodas. And I'm like, you have a good physique. Like he already had like abs showing. It's one of these disgusting people who walk around like, at a really good body fat percentage and don't have to do much.
Don't do anything. I hate those people
Yeah, I've
like
never
a
seen
lot.
a diet. I was like, you should hire a coach. And he hired Gabe, who I'm working with now, back in 2020, like January, I think. And they went into an off season together. And then, yeah, he did his first show at the end of last year in
Nice.
Classic. And then he just competed in Classic and middleweight last weekend.
I'm about to say yeah, last week. He looked
Yeah.
good too, shredded to the core. What
Yeah.
y'all eat?
Oh, so we went to this place. It was like a mall, and they had like a bunch of different food options. So, got some sushi and got a pizza and like this chicken sandwich, and it was like super crispy chicken. It was really good. I didn't have any, but it looked good.
You didn't have why did you have it?
So I had sushi and I had like
Oh, okay.
pizza. Yeah, I'm in the point of off season where like my body fat's like high enough where I'm not really that hungry.
Oh, yeah. I get you.
So I'm not obsessed with food right now.
I get you.
Like,
Yep. I
I have
understand.
blown it out, but at the same time, like I don't have that. Like I'm gonna look at Instagram, all the food pages, and follow and look up at Yelp where I can eat this weekend. Like,
So
you know how it is.
you're making fun of people right now, especially me. You just hit me
But
in
I've
my
been there
heart.
too. Like I was there literally like 8 weeks ago. So
I
it's
actually
been
so
there.
for every national show that I went to, and I've been to three, I'm a big diners, drive-ins, and dives on Food Network, and like so I went online to his show and figured out what restaurants he visited in the areas we were going to be in. And I found what is it? It was a place we went to North America's. It's called DeLucas. It's in Pittsburgh, and they had like ice cream, pancakes, and some other stuff. Oh my god!
Oh wow, I'll
I
have to go there.
Yeah. Are y'all going to be there?
No. So he decided not to do North Americans
Okay.
just because he's got to really grow his upper half. That was his
Mhm.
feedback. So he's going to do another show in 3 weeks. Actually, he's doing the Warrior Classic locally, held by the Shop Gym.
Mhm.
It's an NPC show.
Yeah.
He's going to do middleweight again, just try and push. He came in really conditioned, but they're going to push food a little harder. Gabe was pretty conservative as far as his peak week,
Mhm.
so they're going to play the
Fill them
size
out a little
game.
bit. Try to
Yeah,
fill them out. Yeah.
exactly. So, and then he's probably just going to go into a couple year off season. But we were supposed to go to Pittsburgh, um, and I was actually there like a few weeks ago for Masters. I went to support a friend, and we ate at this really good restaurant. Like I was super surprised. Like I think there's a lot of good little spots over there to eat.
Pittsburgh. I'm from Oklahoma originally. So
Mm.
that's why I was
Oh,
born.
really?
So I'm kind of like the country bumpkin type. Not really, but like I have that in me. And so I always, when you watch movies and stuff, I don't know about you, but like I thought of Pittsburgh as like this dirty, nasty, grimy city because of
Me,
everything I seen in the movies. So when we got there, I'm like, this place is beautiful. Like, what?
Right? I was
And I
so shocked.
Yeah, I was super confused. And we went to the DeLuca's place. I found another place called Primani Bros that he went to. That wasn't that good. We went to Jerome Bettis's restaurant in between the show, which he's a running back for the Steelers, and I had a
Oh, cool.
burger with macaroni and cheese on it. That was fire. It was
Mm.
amazing. Then they have this area that you can go to in like Pittsburgh. It's a walk where you walk around it, and it's a bunch of like restaurants and seafood
I
markets.
think I was there. Yeah. I went to a place called like Public House or something.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's somewhere around. So, and you can like, it's a bunch of stuff you can do. They got like souvenir shops and there you walk through. But yeah, I had a lot of fun in Pittsburgh, but was just completely shocked that it wasn't like the steel mill city that I
Right.
thought it was.
It was really pretty. I was equally as shocked. And like, I've been to some nice places around the world. Like, when I got there, I was like, this looks like somewhere in Europe. But just because
Mhm.
the Appalachian Mountains, like everything's kind of on a hill.
Yep.
And like there's that river that's like running through it, and
Yep.
like got the big like view and then the really quaint city.
Yep.
It's not at all what I thought of
Nope.
either.
And it's crazy. The hill is so weird to adjust to. So like we got an Airbnb with this woman named Jan. She was the sweetest lady in the world. Like I requested her the next year. She was
Really?
awesome. Yeah, she was great. And she
So
like
let me know what the spot is.
yeah, I will. She like remembered us. She was super nice. I think she had a death in the family, so we ended up not being able to stay with her the next year. But
Mhm.
like she was like, if you guys come back, like you know where to go. But the hill part is the scariest crap in the world to me. I'm like, I'm parking at her house, but like parking down on the hill and like
Oh
I
my
don't know
God.
that. Yeah, I wasn't used to that. That was the weirdest part of Pittsburgh with all the hills.
Did you go on the cable thingy? Like
Yes,
you did? Was it cool?
yeah, it was cool. I mean, I guess it wasn't
Yeah.
that big a deal for me.
Okay.
Right. So
Yeah.
that part wasn't, but everything else I love. So yeah, I was shocked. So, but I don't want to talk your head off. I know we've been talking for a minute. So before we close, is there anything else you would like to say or get out there? I know it's late where you at too. Goodness,
Oh yeah, I'm a night owl.
me too.
Yeah. So no, just thank you so much for having me. Hopefully, I'll see you at the Arnolds this year. If you do decide to push your season into March, I know that's kind of a long season, but yeah, it'll be exciting, and excited for future episodes. I'll be on for the swole mates and protein shakes.
Yeah, I'm gonna get y'all on here for sure. I appreciate you having you on again. Thank you for your service. Like I definitely want to say that you are a kick-ass person for doing that. And other than that, for everybody listening, I'll put Nicole's Instagram in the description so y'all can go ahead and follow and support. Then you can follow the boyfriend too and support him as they get prepared for their shows and everything. For everybody listening, thank you for listening to my voice. Thank you for listening to Nicole's voice. For everybody watching, now you've seen two beautiful faces, right? You're welcome. So y'all have a great rest of the day. Thank you.